My name is Phil Rizzuto from the Rizzuto Law Firm. We're a personal injury firm located in Uniondale, Long Island. We service all 5 boroughs in New York City, Long Island, and Westchester. We just opened a second office in New Rochelle. Well, we handle all personal injury from car crashes, motorcycle accidents, slip and falls, trip and falls, construction accidents. We do a lot of cosmetic injuries, and we do a lot of funeral home neglect cases, believe it or not, and a lot of nursing home neglect cases. We represent victims of nursing home abuse and neglect. Again, we do it throughout all 5 boroughs in New York City, all of Long Island and Westchester, and sometimes even north of Westchester. One of the things that sets us apart from the rest of everybody else is the fact that I've done a lot of insurance defense work over the course of my career, and I've done as much insurance defense work as I've done plaintiff's work, and I've represented insurance carriers, I've represented big corporations such as Simon Property Group, I've represented municipalities, and that has gotten me a lot of trial experience. I've tried hundreds of cases, and I tried case after case after case for long periods of time, and I think that has helped me represent plaintiffs who've been injured through the neglect of others. Because I have the trial experience, the judges in the various courthouses are familiar with me, and I think that's a big plus. Our firm consists of about 6 attorneys and 10 support staff at this point. We, just this past year, were retained by a family whose mother passed away last August. And they went to the funeral home where they had services for their father, and they had hired them to prepare the body. Their mother knew she was dying, so she had a wish list, for lack of a better word. She had her dress picked out, she wanted a special coffin, and they were Muslim. So everything had to be done within a certain time period, which is why she pre-planned. When she passed away, the family went to the funeral director. They hired him. They ordered the casket. He said, "No problem, we'll have it here in a day or 2. And they had the casket, and when they went to view their mom, they said, "This isn't my mom. Didn't look like her." And the funeral director laughed at them, said, "Of course it's your mother. People accuse me of this all the time. I do such a great job that the people become unrecognizable." And they said, "No, it's not my mom. She had a mole here, and she had, her hair was longer." And he said, "Well, it's because of the embalming. It smooths out the skin, and things disappear, and it's your mom." So they went through the service, and it was a little uncomfortable because the woman in the casket, they did not recognize to be their mother. It was a brief service before the funeral, the morning of the funeral. They go to the funeral, they bury this person, and the next day my clients got a call from the funeral director saying, "Oops, I have your mother here."
Oh my God.
And at that point there was paperwork that needed to be signed. The funeral director tried to get them to short circuit the paperwork by signing certain things that they shouldn't have had to sign, or falsifying the documents. They didn't do that, but a month later they had a service for their mother, but they had to exhume this other woman who, by the way, was 50 years old. Her mom was like 87. And they buried this woman with the father. And so we sued. So we ended up settling the case rather quickly for more than the insurance policy limits. What's going on with the nursing homes is, in this day and age, is very tragic. One, they were short-staffed before COVID, and since COVID, they are completely understaffed. We've had cases, recent calls, where people are complaining that they're not feeling well, and the families are saying, my mother, my father are not feeling well, and the nursing homes brush them off saying, "Oh, it's all right, it's a cold," and it turns out that they have COVID. And I've had 2 or 3 cases like this where they had COVID, the nursing home did not get the medical treatment, and the people passed away. And there is a law, the public health law, 2801D, requires nursing homes to provide medical treatment. It's not a gray area. It's not ambiguous. They have to provide medical treatment. So when somebody's complaining they're sick and the nursing home is not providing them medical treatment and they get sicker or worse, they die, that, in my opinion, that's gross negligence. My advice for attorneys coming up is you better love what you do, because it's a lot of work. It's not easy. You have to fight for every dollar, whether you're on the plaintiff side or whether you're on the defense side, and nobody's handing you an award unless you're
Well, tonight
come to
you're
the.
getting an award.
I was going to say, unless you're selected by the Herald as one of the top lawyers, and then you get an award. But you have to work. You have to work hard for it. You just don't call. When I first got the call, I almost didn't take it because I figured it was somebody else trying to sell something. And when I spoke to Lori, she convinced me it was like a legitimate thing. And I said, all right, I'm in, I'll do it. But we get tons of sales calls all the time. People trying to sell this or sell that and say, oh, you're one of the top 10 attorneys. And so this was a very nice surprise. I'm honored to be here, and I can't wait.